Spells such as Leaden Blades, Gravity Bow, Cure Light Wounds, and Entangle will certainly be standbys that are more than enough to help you turn the tide of any fight. But as you progress further in your career as a ranger, you will have access to deeper, more powerful magics to aid in such endeavors. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, continuing on, of course, with our first edition Pathfinder Ranger build guide, going over Treant Monk's Switch Hitter build. Before we get into the second level spells, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if awesome folks such as yourselves have already listed yourself on such a legendary roster of awesome adventurers, then go on down to hit that like button and share the video far and wide and help us grow ever further. But now let's talk about these second level spells. So, to begin with, we're going to go off with Spike Growth, and this one is awesome. It's a medium range spell, 100 feet plus 10 feet per level in your range, and it will affect one 20-foot square per level, and it lasts 1 hour per level, with a reflex for partial save and spell resistance does apply. So this can be cast on any terrain with some plant life, so you're not casting this on open water, frozen sheets of ice, or completely dead, desolate terrains of rock and cement or the like. And creatures that move through the affected area will take 1d4 piercing damage for every 5 feet they move, and will have to make a reflex save or slow to 1/2 speed for 24 hours or until those wounds are healed. So this is an incredible area control spell. In 120-foot square per level, I mean, that's a pretty big area for you to begin affecting. You can make that a row, a box, an X, a checkerboard, whatever you decide to do to yield the best tactical advantage for yourself, you are going to really begin messing up a lot of things. And this is perfect whether you're going up against just 1 or 2 opponents or you have a swarm bearing down on you. So definitely massively useful and will help you keep your opponents further at range if that is your desire. And the next spell is Wind Wall. This is another medium range spell, so another 100 feet plus 10 feet per level, and it's creates a 10-foot long, 5-foot tall per level wall that will last 1 round per level. And it's a wall of nothing but gusting, blustery winds that blocks small flying creatures and makes arrows and bolts miss, while larger missiles have a 30% miss chance, so javelins and the like, or say a ogre or a giant is firing arrows. Those will pass through the wall. Now, this may seem counterintuitive for being recommended as such a useful spell for you because, well, you're a ranger and we're going with a switch hitter build, meaning you're good at archery and at melee. So why would you want this? This is going to cause your own ranged attacks to miss if you throw it down in front of you. Well, don't throw it down in front of you. Put it down behind you. Protect the squishier characters at the back. Keep that wizard from becoming a pincushion. That's where you want to place this. This helps you add on to your team's defensive capabilities, and also means that if you throw this down, the wizard doesn't have to and can keep casting their own spells, because their spells will fire through the wall no problem. This doesn't affect that. This doesn't affect magic missile or anything like that, just physical attacks or small flying creatures. So you don't have to say you have an occultist in your party, you don't have to worry about somebody's small-sized familiar creature flying over and yoinking away one of the different artifacts that the occultist uses for casting their own magic. As those items go, the occultist abilities go right along with it. So definitely incredibly handy to have. And then, of course, we have more spells for you. The next spell I would definitely recommend for you to pick up is Protection from Energy. It's another touch range. It's a creature touched target, lasts 10 minutes per level or until the spell is fully discharged. This gives immunity to either acid, cold, electricity, fire, or sonic damage, absorbing 12 points of damage per caster level to a max of 120, so by level 10 this will top out. And remember, protection from energy stacks with the previous resistance spell at level 1, so this will overlap pretty nicely. This one absorbing all the damage first, and then the next taking damage off once protection from energy wears away. And then we have a spell here that I've listed just to give you an example of something not to really worry about picking up, and that's Bear's Endurance. It's a touch range and it affects the creature touched, and it lasts 1 minute per level, and you grant a +4 bonus to Constitution, increasing hit points, fortitude saves, Constitution checks, etc. All of that. So why do I not feel this is very useful? Well, for one, the bonus that this provides does not stack with a lot of the more common stat boosting items that you'll be coming across. So really, this just doesn't really do a whole lot for you for very long, and even then the bonus does not increase as you advance in level. So what you're talking about is a +2 bonus to your hit points per level, which, you know, level 10, that's an extra 20 hit points, which sounds nice, but really you're getting a minimal return, and at level 10 you will more than likely have an item that provides the same effect anyways, so you don't really need to worry about picking up Bear's Endurance. The same thing goes for anything that boosts Bull's Strength, Cat's Grace, any of those kinds of spells you can pretty safely, reliably skip in my book. But then, going on from there, we have one last spell for you, and it's a fairly interesting one. I've listed it here because there's a lot of uses for this, and the spell is called All Food. It's another touch range spell, and this affects the object touched that can weigh up to 5 pounds per caster level, and it has an instantaneous effect. You can transform an object into bland, edible food. The object will retain its properties, so if you cast this on a burning torch, it will still be putting off light and heat, and if you try to eat it, it will burn you. A wall will keep its hardness against attack, so if you go to try to sunder it or break it apart somehow, the wall will still remain there and be durable. However, the only exception to any of this is that when you go to try to eat it, aside from the torch part, the torch portion of things, the heat and the like, the heat will burn you, but you can easily eat the rest of the torch as well. You're not chewing into a chunk of wood. You're not chewing into a stone wall. Once you take it, you can eat it. You can just start devouring it. So how does that end up being useful for you? Well, if you're thrown in a prison cell and you've managed to pass yourself off as just some run-of-the-mill sellsword, you throw this spell on the lock, well, that lock is now suddenly edible. You can just chew into it and then leave, and you'll be fine. You can create entrances quietly, quickly, discreetly. You can just do all manner of different things. I mean, the uses for this are just absolutely only limited by your imagination. And also, there is one other limitation I should bring up, in that this does not really affect magic items, and if you're casting this on a held item, then that item runs off of its wielder's will saving throw, and spell resistance does apply in that instance. But otherwise, just mundane, unattended objects, go to town, cast it, and see what happens, and have fun with that. And also, it should be noted that 1 pound of all food provides a day's sustenance for one medium-sized creature. So, considering that you can affect up to 5 pounds per level, you'll be able to get a couple of days worth of food out of this, because the food, it doesn't make mentioning of it spoiling in any way, shape, or form. You will take care of your party supplies pretty readily. All you really need to worry about taking with you is water. So, definitely lots of survival applicability, lots of stealthy, conniving means of ingress for you to make use of with this spell. So many wonderful things, lots and lots of stuff. It's kind of cool. So definitely one worth considering, though maybe will not be on every single build. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below. Did you like today's video? Do you like the spells that are on selection for you today? Voice your thoughts down below, whether you like it or dislike it. Hit those like or dislike buttons and we'll engage in discussion. And as I said earlier, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. And remember to like and share, well, share the video and dislike it as well if you didn't like it. With all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.